In this video, we're going to learn the syntax of padding. First of all, let's make a few changes to the HTML documents we're working with. Let's get rid of the span element. I keep only divs and paragraphs for now. Also, let's change the height of all the divs to auto so that we can see the impacts of padding clearly. Okay, now let's define some padding to the Facebook div. So the syntax is padding. There are several ways of defining the padding. The first one is by using one value. So if we set that value to 16 pixels, for instance, it's going to define the padding from all the div sites. And if we go to inspect elements, we will see clearly what's going on. So if we select the Facebook div, we can see that the contents is here and the padding is set to 16 from all sides. But you will notice that there is some space between the text and the paragraph top and bottom borders. And if you remember what we have said in the previous video, we say that paragraphs, they have some default margins. And that's why we see that space. So let's get rid of that space for now and see what's going to happen. So let's go back to the live preview and let's define a margin to paragraphs of 0. So we're going to jump a little bit further here because we haven't seen the syntax of margins, but we're going to come back to margins later. Okay, let's set that to 0. And now you can see, if you go to inspect elements, that the space between the Facebook text and the border of the paragraph has disappeared. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the brackets file, go back to live preview and set some padding now to the next div, which is the Apple div. So syntax is padding. Now we're going to use 4 values. So we're going to define a padding for each of the 4 sides of the div. Basically, it's going to start with the top side, moving to the right one, then the bottom one, and then the left one. Okay. So the first one for the top, followed by right, followed by the bottom one, and then followed by the left one. Okay. And also there is another way. It's by using only 2 values, which are going to define the padding for the top and bottom sides. And then the second one is going to define the padding for the right and left sides. Okay. So for instance, let's set that to 40 pixels and 10 pixels. Okay. If we go to inspect elements and just see what's going on, if we go to the Microsoft div, we can see padding at the top and bottom of 40, and from the left and right sides, it's set to 10 pixels. Also, regarding the dimensions of the div, after we add padding, the div is going to have new dimensions. So the new dimensions are going to be the original dimensions of the div, which we can see here as the dimensions of the content, plus the padding. Okay, so the height, for instance, is going to be for Microsoft div is going to be 40 pixels plus 40 pixels plus the height of the content. And also for the width is going to be 10 pixels plus 312 pixels plus 10 pixels of the padding. All right. So this is it for padding. In the next video, we're going to cover the borders.